Good afternoon and welcome to our board meeting on July 26, 2022, 5 p.m. Call the meeting to order. Christina will read the sentence on the public contest. Back to you, Christina.
Thank you, Madam President. In order to help assure compliance with the Brown Act and in order to make our board meetings more effective and more efficient, trustees will speak only when recognized, and trustees who speak on a topic other than the agenda item currently under consideration will be out of order. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you. Item 1.2, roll call taken by Christina. Back to you, Christina.
President Cecilia Mendez,
Present.
Vice President Raymond Zulueta,
Present.
Clerk Alicia Rico,
Present.
Trustee Maria Mendez,
Present.
Trustee Zachary Avalar,
Present.
Trustee Scott McBrien,
Present,
Trustee Angel Ann Flores.
and she is coming back, and she told me to let you all know she's on her way back shortly.
Thank you, Trustee McBrien. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you. Now we have item 1.3, oral suggestions. I will read the announcements and the number of public comments. Back to you, Abby.
Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Trustees, we have 5 comment cards for item 1.3. The first comment card is from Ms. Lynn Green regarding item 2.1 and 2.2 together. Ms. Green, if you can please come up to the podium and mic.
Our department is in extreme turmoil. Losing Bernard Beasley at this point in time is going to put us in a more downward spiral. As of right now, he was working on helping to get more buses. We are inadequately ready for the start of school. Losing a key player at this point in time is not going to help the department, is not going to make anything better, is not going to do anything but make things worse. We are all trying our best. And what everyone in this whole district has forgotten is without the children, we have no district, we have no jobs. Without transportation, they cannot get to and from school. The stress, the negativity, and the fighting in this district in transportation has to stop. Bernard was working on trying to get things resolved. We have people in that department who refuse but to do anything but bully and make things worse. By getting rid of him at this point in time is going to be the worst thing that's going to happen to transportation. And there's nothing else I can say on this right now, except that it is the hugest mistake to lose a director at this point in time with all the issues that he was addressing and trying to take care of so that we can transport our students who are up front and most important. Without them, there is no district. And our special needs students are suffering because things are not done and have fallen upon deaf ears to get more buses and more drivers. That needs to stop. It needs to be heard, and it needs to be taken care of. But taking away the person that was doing that at this point in time is going to make it worse. We are struggling. We have Friday as the first day of school. We are not prepared.
Thank you.
Next comment card is from Jerry Gonzalez regarding item 2.1.
Good afternoon, Jerry Gonzalez. I am a Stockton resident and alumni of Stockton Unified many years ago. Item 2.1, I just want to express some concern. I noticed there's a missing person here. And on your certificated list here, there's nothing mentioned about a resignation. And I was just wondering if maybe somebody could shed some light upon that. and if there is, you know, a plan in place at this point, because she was there last time I was here and now she's gone. So that's it.
Thank you.
Next comment card is from Mr. Jerry Gonzalez regarding item 2.2.
Okay, so I was just looking at the, you have certificated and you have classified. And I noticed that you have a new position, or at least an updated position for administrator of state and federal. And I was wondering why that was listed under a classified and not as a certificated position. It just, my understanding was most management people were certificated. And I was just wondering why it was moved down to classified. Not to jump ahead, but also this appointment, if it happens, I think it seems to be a cart before the horse, because down on 13.4, you have an update to that position that you're hiring somebody or appointing somebody, but then you're updating the position. It doesn't seem like it's in proper order. So that was it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next two cards are regarding item 2.2. First card is from Miss Tanya Copeland.
Hello, good evening. My name is Tanya Copeland. I'm the Transportation Operations Supervisor. So first, I would like to say that we have a petition that we got signed today with 20 signatures. It was after the closing, so we didn't get everybody, but it is in support of Bernard. It says, "Dear school board members, we are in support of Bernard Veasley. This department was made to look like the entire department has an issue with Bernard Veasley. That is not true. He is essential to the department. He has fought for this department. He has been a major support for the drivers, bus attendants, and office staff. He has implemented new programs, helped build morale, supported new growth in the department, and has a good rapport with parents and staff. We trust Bernard. He has been a positive role model in a difficult time for the department. The reason it has been problematic is because we've had 5 directors, managers in the past. Why? We deserve some consistency. We deserve familiarity and positive support. We get this with Bernard. He is the first director to fight for the betterment of the department and what is right. We are here to urge you not to vote in favor of his resignation. He was mistaken when he put it in and wants to be here as the director, support us. And he even said if I needed to call him, I could, so he could say it. So I wrote something as well. We do not support the resignation of Bernard Veasley. He put the resignation in only if the people he was asking to be removed were not removed. Yet again, this wasn't given to the board. How come? Who has the power to deny a department assistance? There's constantly being sabotage in our department, but nobody is helping us. This is another case of people abusing their power. Bernard has asked to rescind his resignation. However, it's here. Bernard Veasley has been a welcome light to the department. We have gone through 5 directors, managers in the past year. Why? Every one of them has come in strong against the office staff. They've all been told what to expect, some with a hit list, as you've all seen, knowing I'm on it as well, but I'm taking the chance being here tonight because something needs to change. When people come in, they're told everything that's wrong with the department and the department's in disarray. Once they see the truth and see what they've been told is wrong, they change their stance, then they're gone. This has been happening for the past year. Bernard is trustworthy. He is essential for the department. He has put the children first. He has implemented many new programs to ensure efficiency and consistency. He was trying to get the saboteurs out and to make the department run smoothly. We need him. He's a wonderful director. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next comment card is from Miss Crystal Curry.
Hello, everyone. I'm here again. I was here during the last board meeting, and I was asking then for you all to consider all sides. And being that this has come up, that the resignation for Bernard, it's touched a lot of people who didn't know about the actual meeting last time. And then knowing that he's resigning or having to resign, that's touched a lot of people. And a lot of drivers and bus attendants, they feel like they're not being heard. I've only been here a little while. I see the disarray. I see the problem children who go into certain people's office. I see this. I haven't even been here that long. But Bernard cares about the transportation department. He cares about the children. So we're asking for you to not approve the resignation of Bernard, because he really doesn't want to resign. We have people here. If we can get all of the transportation to stand up. You don't have to be for him. As you can see, you got some for, and then you got some against. Against have spoken at the last board meeting. The ones for didn't even know about it. So now you got a lot that's for because they were blindsided. So we need you all to be on the transportation side, be on the Bernard side. And I'm even gonna say now that some of the things that were said last time were lies.
Oh, no, it
Oh, yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. You were there when it
That-
happened.
No, I was not.
Yes, you were.
If I was there, I have no knowledge of it.
Yes, you were.
I would have no knowledge of it. I have been asked by the police department whether I knew anything about whatever incident. I knew nothing. I was put into something that I had nothing to do with. Bullying, really? You can tell from the respect.
Ms. Curry, I'm sorry, time.
Maybe
Thank
we
you.
extend her time since she was in.
You can tell
No,
from respect.
Thank you, no,
If
3
you can't
minutes.
even respect calling your director.
Thank you,
the
thank you.
director, that tells you that they don't have respect for him.
Trustees, this concludes public comments for item 1.3. Back to you, President Mendez.
Thank you. Now we go to item 1.4, public employee disciplines, dismissal release. Do we have anything there, Mr.?
There's nothing for that item, Board
Thank you, sir.
President.
Item 1, the board will consider closed session. Items will listed below by Vice President Raymond Zuleta. Back to you, sir.
Thank you, Madam President, and good evening, everyone. The items that we'll consider in closed session are 2.1, public employee appointment certificated, leave of absence, resignation, retirement appointment. 2.2, public employee appointment classified. 2.3, public employee appointment professional expert coaches. 2.4, conference with labor negotiator. 2.5, public employee discipline dismissal release. 2.6, conference with legal counsel existing litigation subsection D-1 of Government Code Section 54956.9. 2.7, conference with legal counsel anticipated litigation. 2.8, student expulsion. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Vice President Zuleta. Now we're gonna go to 1.6, recess to closed session, and Christina will read the oral announcements. Thank you, Christina. Back to you.
The board will now recess to close session. Thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome. We reconvene for public session. 4.1, Pledge of Allegiance to the flag led by Israel Gonzalez, Israel Gonzalez, Director of Educational Equity and LCAP. Thank you.
Before we begin, when California first became a state, the state constitution was written so that it would be a bilingual state. So if it's okay, I would like to do the Pledge of Allegiance in Spanish first and then in English. Is that okay?
Thank you.
Please stand. Yo prometo lealtad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América, que representa una nación bajo Dios, indivisible, nervous all of a sudden, con libertad y justicia para todos. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. 4.2, announcements or action taken in closed session are going to be by the Vice President, Raymond Zuleta.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our board meeting. My apologies for our, long closed session. The items that we took a look at in closed session start with item 2.1, which was a motion to approve public employee appointment certificated. And it also included a part of the motion was to approve the admin of ELOP contingent on the approval of the revised admin of state and federal programs in 13.4. That motion carried 6-1. The one no vote was trustee Flores. Item 2.2 was a motion to approve public employee appointment classified. And that also had a contingency. So admin of state and federal, that position is contingent on the approval of agenda item 13.1 as well, which is the revised admin of state and federal programs. That motion carried 6-1. The one no vote was trustee Flores. Item 2.3 is a motion to approve public employee appointment professional expert coaches. That motion carried 6-0 and one absent. The one absent was trustee Maria Mendez. Next up, there are a few motions in 2.5. The first is a motion to release a probationary classified employee. That motion carried 6-0 and one abstention. The one abstention was Madam President. Next was a motion to accept the resignation of a teacher. That motion carried unanimously. Next, there was a motion to release 3 substitute teachers. That motion carried unanimously. There is a motion to approve the resignation agreement of Roxana Villasenor as Assistant Superintendent effective July 31st, 2022. That motion carries 6-0 to one abstention. The one abstention was trustee Clerk Rico. 2.6, there's a motion to respond to the complaint filed by Disability Rights Education and Defense Fund. That motion carried unanimously. Next up, a motion to respond to the unfair practice charge filed by CSEA 821 in case number SACE 3095E. The motion carries unanimously. Next, a motion to respond to the unfair practice charge filed by CSEA 821 in case number SACE 3095E. Motion carries unanimously. And in item 2.7, there was a motion to reject the claim of Jose Gutierrez. That motion carries 6-0 with one absent. Trustee Maria Mendez was absent. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Vice President Solera. Now we go to the next item, then it will be 4.3, approval the order of agenda. And our Christina will be read the sentence, so Yvette.
This is the opportunity for the Board of Trustees to make any changes to the order of the agenda. Otherwise, the order of the agenda will be as published. Thank you.
I'd like to motion to put public comments first due to the fact that we had them waiting for a while.
Thank you.
I'll second putting the public comments from the end of the meeting up here at the beginning with 5.1.
Thank you. Anything else? Thank you. We're going to proceed.
President Mendez,
Yes,
was
sir.
there was a second, a motion and a second to move that?
Yes, sir.
So now there should be a vote.
Or a discussion.
Does anybody have any questions about this or discussion?
No, I think it's a long time coming. I think it's a great idea. Thank you, Zachary.
Thank you. If everybody agree, everybody who agrees, say aye.
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 7, thank you. Unanimous. 5.1, oral suggestions and comments from the community regarding the open session agenda and the public. So Abby will read the oral announcement.
Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Trustees, we have 10 comment cards for item 5.1. The first 3 cards are regarding item 9.1. First comment card is from Mr. David Singh.
Give me a moment and I'll pull up my comment. Hope y'all are doing well. Okay, so I was reviewing the agenda items and the documents with agenda item 9.1, and I was a little concerned by the changes made to the revised board bylaws. So it looks like this is another attempt to limit transparency during our board meetings. Again, I believe fully that the public is entitled to detailed and diligent meeting minutes with detailed summaries of each discussion on each agenda item and records of each public comment. This should not be requested on, say, a trustee requesting it. It should just be done. It's a given. So why, and then another concern I saw within the board documents was that there was a deleting district recordings of board meetings after 30 days. I don't think that should ever happen. And I think that adding that happening does limit the transparency of our board meetings for future access. And I highly encourage you all to look at what's being written and amended on this board bylaw and consider what it can do to limit transparency. As we've noted, the grand jury report and both grand jury reports from last year and this year have marked us with a lack of transparency. And I think that approving this motion is a step backwards for us in terms of transparency. And I highly encourage you all to not vote for it unless there are major amendments made to what we are saying in these board bylaws. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Next comment card regarding item 9.1 is from Harpreet Chima.
Yep, hello, my name's Harpreet Chima. Basically the same comment, and I just want to read this to the public. The original draft of the bylaw says the minutes of the board meeting shall include, but not be limited to, a summary of the public comments made on agendized items and non-agenda topics. And what was added was, now it's if requested by the board at a board meeting, a summary of the public comments made on agendized items. I don't know why by default that would not be included on every single minute copy. And so it would be nice if you could justify why that was added. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next comment card is from Alyssa Lira.
It's Leva. Thank you, Angeline. My name is Alyssa Leva. I just want to echo the comments by David and Harpreet. I was trained in Robert's Rules of Order at Delta College, and Part of the procedure is you have to make sure that you're trained in it in order for things to be ratified and legal. And so I just want to enforce, maybe we do need a bit more of Robert's Rules training. When I was listening in during the meetings during the pandemic, I noticed trustees were speaking over each other. So I'm really glad that you guys aren't doing that anymore. If you can improve on this too, to improve on your Robert's Rules of Order to provide transparency to the community, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next comment card is from Mr. David Singty regarding item 13.3.
All right, so this is a comment regarding reinstating, I'm supporting the reinstatement of the Emergency Services / School Safety Program Coordinator. This was something that was eliminated in April of 2021. And it's been noted that there has been a decline in prioritizing school safety, too loud, on our school campuses, starting with Superintendent Deasy, and it was exacerbated under Superintendent John Ramirez when that position was eliminated in April 2021. So Mr. Omlin, the former school safety program coordinator, was interviewed for a record, and he said that he was requested to meet with John Ramirez, but this never happened, or there was no turnover to the next person for this position after his position was eliminated. So let's be really clear, this negligence is one of the reasons why the passing of Lala happened on Stagg's campus in April of this year, a mere 1 year after that position was eliminated. And it looks like this is something that should have been done immediately. Like, we need this position to be filled, and it shouldn't have to take a child to be murdered on their campus during school hours and anticipated litigation on top of that for this reinstatement to even happen. And I do want to note a few things that the board has been seemingly trying to hide regarding public records requests in regards to school safety. So where is the state mandated comprehensive school safety plan? Where is the federal readiness and emergency management for schools program? And what are the details of this elimination of this district emergency services school safety program coordinator? Because there's not much known about it. It's just the position was eliminated and there was no talk of putting a successor for it. And what is the information regarding a Share 911 alert system at Stagg High School regarding per the day that Lala was murdered? So I just want to add that this is something that negligence caused, and is the eliminations of these positions that can prevent someone's child being murdered on a campus. And I feel as if that the board should be ashamed that they did not appoint someone to this position, and it took them over a year, and for someone's child to be killed on a campus, for them to be like, okay, now it's time to reinstate someone. That's just my take, but yeah, that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have 5 comment cards from Jerry Gonzalez regarding 5 different items. First item is regarding 6.12.
Good evening again. I'll try not to use all my 3 minutes for each of them, but I know that if I do get long-winded, then I run out of time. So the first item I'd like to speak on is to ask that 6.12 be moved to an, I guess, called an action item for discussion. That's the approval of the purchase of the Zoom licensing. And the reason why I'd like to have it moved to an open action item is so that we could hear if the district board will put Zoom meetings back streaming, because they're being recorded, I believe. And you had them streaming when you weren't holding in-person meetings. There are some people, I'm wearing a mask, I've got a 90-something-year-old mom. Don't want to get her sick, but I'm here. But there are some people who are more fearful, will not come to a public meeting, or for whatever reason can't come to a public meeting. And I just think it would be great if you're able to have these meetings streamed. Okay. The next item is 7.1, which is for Rockeye Consulting. And let me check my notes. So I believe some previous speakers kind of touched upon this. I know that Rockeye is in the process of putting together a more comprehensive safety plan for all of the district schools and such. But I think, again, bring up the flaw of the board, and I know it was not all of you, but the board having eliminated the school safety coordinator position, I think was a huge mistake. I do commend you for considering bringing that position back, but that was probably the worst decision as far as I'm concerned when it comes to the kids' safety. You know, budget cuts, come on, you know, there's hundreds of millions of dollars to cut one position, critical position like that, I think was just a very, very poor choice. The next one, 10-1, which is your board committee reports. I don't see anything on here. I believe you all agreed to form an ad hoc committee in response to the grand jury. And I would just be curious to find out what is happening with that. So it may be in here somewhere, I just didn't see it. So I just thought I would bring that up. I would appreciate. The next has to do with 13.3, which is the reinstatement of the Emergency Services School Safety Program Coordinator. I'm not going to restate what I said before, but again, I think, you know, it was a poor choice, and I fully support you bringing that position back. Next items are 13.4 and 5, and I believe these are kind of interrelated for a director's position that was just recently vacated. And in the notes, I believe it says that by revising one of these positions to it for state and federal to an administrator and not a director, it's going to save some money for the district. But if I read this correctly, you're creating two positions for the one that the person that vacated. So I don't understand how you're saving money. You're just hiring more people. And if that person was able to do the job effectively, then why are you hiring two people to do the same job? And that's it. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next comment card is from Alyssa Leyva regarding item 6.3.
Okay, so my comment is to address the approval of expenditure for Stockton Unified School District members to attend the California Latino School Boards Association Conference. Since we are in such a great budget deficit, according to the grand jury, I worry what entails in this budget isn't the most cost-effective option in order to receive education on how to better serve our Hispanic and Latinx community in SUSD. I'm happy to see that the board is taking an interest to attend a conference in order to serve our students in this population because they compose the majority of the district. After attending the last meeting we had on July 12th, I enjoyed listening to the committee of parents who gave feedback on the training that they received in New York. I propose today that currently and in the future, the board works with our local existing coalitions of partners, such as this group of leaders that I mentioned within the district when it comes to concerns of receiving more professional development training. This should help clean up what the grand jury report addressed about misappropriation of funds. I don't think it's wise to continue to approve of grand expenditures of funding from our taxpayers when we are already in so much debt. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we received one card from Ms. Nancy Masson regarding item 13.3.
Hello. I just wanted to speak to you guys regarding 13.3. I am obviously excited, like everybody else in the room, that you're bringing back the two positions. My concern is that the combination of the grant development and compliance specialist position, that's a huge two jobs combined in one position. And I feel like we need to put safety first of our kids and maybe just have like a safety separate for the compliance section separate. And then the emergency services and school safety, I can kind of see how those kind of intertwine, but I'm just having a hard time wrapping my brain around how grant development intertwines with compliance. And obviously, there's a need for money in our school district. I write grants for my classroom all the time. And so I do think that grant development is something we do need, but I think that's a full-time position. And if you hired somebody in that position, then you could obviously get more money in for other things. But I do feel like our compliance specialist should not be intertwined unless I'm reading it wrong and it's not the same position. If anyone could clarify.
We're not able to respond right
Okay.
now, but we can direct
you
you
will.
to a staff member to answer your questions after.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And this concludes comments for item 5.1. Back to you, President Mendez.
Thank you.
Yes.
What
I
about
can
the
move-
16.1?
Yes, we do have several comment cards for item
Yeah.
16.
Yes,
Because
we're
that's
gonna
what the
portray
motion-
those, yes,
Yes,
please.
thank you.
We have 8 comment cards for item 16.1. First group of comments is regarding the topic of transportation. First comment card is from Lynn Green. Ms. Green, if you can please come up to the podium and look.
Hello again. So this is different. This is about my perception of promotions. You start as a sub, you work your way to a driver. If you're lucky enough, you get a chance in the office. Or you get a chance to move up as a trainer or supervisor. What you cannot do is take those positions that you have moved up into to use as bullying, as a way to manipulate other people, do false comments, complaints. I've had several, all unfounded, and to disrupt a whole department with your negative, vindictive attitudes. If you cannot make it in the environment that you have to work in, you need to accept that fact, step aside, let someone else come in. We need help in that office. We need another supervisor. We do not need negative-filled people who are vindictive, who bully, use their positions, even union positions and the contract against other members. This has been brought up to the board. This has been brought up to HR. This has been brought up downtown. Nothing is making things better. I used to come to work happy. I used to come to work gladly, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. I can barely get up to do an 8-hour shift, had to change my hours because I do not feel safe around people because I don't know what they're gonna say I said. When you have to change your hours or you don't know how you're gonna be or what you're gonna get the next morning because of 2 people in this department, that's not fair to all of the ones that are working. We have to have everything around the kids. There again, I will say again, everything this district is the children. But if you have a dysfunctional department like transportation because of 2 people, then you have a problem.
Thank you.
Next comment card is from Margarita Sutton.
Good evening, board members. Lynn said how transportation is as in turmoil. Very true. Bernard doesn't make the department better. When he came in to the department, he said he was there to make things better. Look at us, at each other's throats, calling each other liars. Why is the transportation department in turmoil? It's been like this for years. What's the common denominator? It's the same people in that office. Let's stop hiring friends who just know the right people. I'm still waiting on my disciplinary. I'm accused of gossiping about Bernard and a fellow employee. He said that, somebody came around and told him, we've yet to hear who it was, And like I said, last time I was here, he ran out of that meeting with my union rep. He ran out of there like a coward. This is what he has done. He has done. Half the people here that are in support of him can't even show up to work for a full week, but they managed to show up here today on time. Their fearless leader telling coworkers to switch supervisors from Claudia Munoz to Tanya. Being switched, they get more hours. If you don't believe me, you can pull their time cards. Let's see who gets more hours and who isn't showing up for work and there's nothing done about it. I agree. Lots of bullying going on in that office. Who is it?
Thank you.
Next comment card is from Rosie Robles.
Good evening, board members. I'm here to talk about, I've worked for the district for a very, very, very long time, and it used to be a good place to work for. I used to go tell people, they said, where do you work at? Transportation. I love my job. Can I say this today or 5 years ago? No, I can't. And I don't know how many of you have been on the board because I really haven't been to board meetings, but there have been many complaints, not just while Bernard has been here, but past complaints that have not been settled. I just don't, I'm tired of the arguing and fighting there. When we worked together before, they talk about, this is for the kids. Let's do this for the kids. It's not for the kids. It's all the bickering and anger and hatred that they have in that office. Our past department, when we needed to get those kids done, you know what we did? We shut down our department, wait till our supervisor got in there and everybody drove. Today, it's like all the office staff, that's not my job. It is your job. It is there to get us safely. Our secretaries would drive, our bookkeepers would drive. That's how important those students were to us. There's no pride in this job no more. All it is hatred and anger. And if you get rid of Bernard, that's not going to stop what's happening here today. I'm telling the truth. It needs to stop in that department. If this was your business, which it is your business, you own that department, your department has failed. You have failed the students, you have failed the teachers, you have failed everybody. And yes, there's going to be a target on my back now because I'm speaking up, which I don't really care. The truth needs to be brought out. It's not who you hire people because they're your friends, not what they know. We don't need people in there like that. I have lots of stories if I could tell them how this department has been run poorly. And it's been going on for years, just not this year or no other years. And who tells their employees? I will give you so much work that you all be like crackheads. Who tells your employees that? Do you tell your employees that? Do you tell your students or teachers? Well, this is what this man tells you. He don't know what any of us came from, if we were drug addicts or alcoholics. You don't talk to people like that. And as far as parking, our bus attendants that have been here for many years no longer have a parking space. Where does seniority count? They're out there in the streets now. Bus attendants that have been here not 15 years, but maybe 6, 7 years. Now
Ms.
they're parking in
Robles.
the street for people that don't have barely came
Ms.
here.
Robles. Sorry, our time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last comment. Last comment card regarding transportation is from Ms. Cynthia Solis.
No, ma'am, go make your comment. I'm good.
Sorry. Okay, excuse me. So I too would like to say something about the comments that were made. Somebody's only been here for 4 months. The other's been here for 5 years. I've been here for 25 years. And I'm going to let you know, Angel Ann Flores has been to our yard. She had a secret meeting behind closed doors with Tanya Copeland, the supervisor, and Shelby Pate, the other dispatcher. She was there for over an hour, and I was waiting to go on my lunch, and I couldn't go because nobody else was there. So then when she came out of that meeting, she went to lunch. So I had to wait another whole hour after that. This happens quite a bit. They all go out to lunch together. There's nobody in the office. I've been left alone in that office, which I don't mind. It's quiet. So when they come back, they bring their lunch after an hour and then sit and eat their lunch. So you want to complain about me, they watch me, say I'm over my hour for my lunch. I take 2 lunches. No, I don't. I have a 15-minute break in the morning, 15-minute break in the afternoon. And I took them all both at the same time today because nobody was there. I was told I was supposed to be in the in-service today. I signed on at 7:30. Nobody told me any difference. And yes, Angel Ann, I forgot to say, you did campaign while everybody was on the clock. You talked about, I'm going to run for office. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I'm not going to argue with you. I get to say what I want to say. I was there. And I told everybody, don't listen to her because she always votes no. Look at your record. You vote no for transportation. And so does Miss Maria Mendez. So you can say what you want. You want to help our department, and you never help our department. And it is true what Rosie said. There's a lot of turmoil in the office. And yes, I just gotten in the office. I've been there for 25 years. And every time I listened to a phone call that Bernard made to Tanya while she was on vacation, and he asked her, when is she going to close it? Because I went to ask him, when are you going to close this? I already did my first interview. Now I got to do a second interview. So he called her and she said, well, I thought we didn't want Cynthia, Roseanne, or Maria Aguilar in the office. What is that? So yeah, I'm blackballed for many years. Tanya already told me herself when she got in that supervisor position that there's no way they would let me be in the office. So they could sit there, people that don't know, haven't been here as long as I have. They could say whatever they want. Everybody has their right. And I'm tired of the turmoil in there. And it isn't just 2 people. It's like 5 or 6 people because we're not in compliance with what they want. And that's not right. I do my job. I sit at my desk and do my job. I don't go sitting at somebody else's desk and start talking or go sit in the other 2 offices of the account clerk or the supervisor and just hang out in there all day.
Time, Ms.
And yes, they
Solis.
do. Thank you. Thank you.
We have 2 comment cards regarding topic summer program. First comment card is from Omar Gonzalez. Dominique Simone.
Is there only one person allowed to stand up here? Nobody asked you. Okay, ready? Do I just start? Okay. I'm super nervous when it comes to public speaking, but I just wanted to tell the members of the board, my name is Dominique Simone, and we are the contractors for your aquatic summer program, and it's almost over. Well, and this week is the last week. We are here to personally thank the board for supporting the summer program at Franklin and Edison Pool at the high schools. In addition, we will be lifeguarding during the PE classes at Edison. And then I would like to introduce the 3 lifeguards that we actually hired, Omar Marcelli and Jonathan Taylor. They're actually alums. They just graduated this year. They're all going to college and they benefited from this job so they could have money for college So I'm very excited to say that I'm happy to be a part of SUSD now because I'm the new head water polo coach for Edison High School for the boys and girls. And I hope that eHouse excels.
Thank you.
Mr. Omar Gonzalez, will you be speaking?
Hello, board members. I highly appreciate the great opportunity that I was given as a student from Edison High School. Soon I will be attending UC Davis College of Biological Sciences. As for my coworkers, Edison alum and friends, Marcelli will be leaving for CSU, Channel Islands for communications, and John will be going to Modesto Junior College for business. We appreciate the opportunity that we had during the summer, summer job before we leave for school. We look forward to come back in the near future to our town and beloved South Side next summer to give our community a place to refresh themselves at the Edison Pool. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next three comment cards are regarding topic town hall. The first card is from David Singty.
So first off, I just want to thank Dr. Baird and Ms. Susanna Ramirez, right, for meeting with me this past weekend. I think a week ago regarding the town hall. It was a really productive meeting. And I do want to pop the idea again, because I didn't see any mention of the town halls in regards to the grand jury report and the response for it. So I do think that is something that we do need to keep on our radar, because the response to the grand jury should be timely, and it is important for us to look at what's being said in this report and respond diligently. So I do know that there will be a transition of power from Dr. Baird to Dr. Miller. So I invite Dr. Miller to also meet with me and connect with me regarding this town hall, because I do think that this is an ongoing conversation that does need to happen. And when we don't see that be mentioned, or it just dies off after one meeting, it does. After, a lot of things do die off after one meeting, and we want this to be something that does happen, because I think that the community is deserving of a thorough response that is reflective of what the community thinks. Because again, last year when we responded to the grand jury report, it felt as if we were only adhering to certain demands and recommendations that were convenient for us. And I think that the point of this grand jury report was to expose what wasn't working. And when somebody is telling you that you're not doing the job correctly, it does hurt at first, but sometimes we do need to swallow our pride as a board of trustees and continue to work while adhering to what they're saying, because this grand jury panel is meant to be impartial, and the findings there are based on research and studying methods, and they went into our district, got that data as best as they could, and we should be we should hold this grand jury report very highly. And that's why a town hall, in order for the public to ask questions and also give feedback on what they read in the report, and also gain knowledge in what was said in the report, because this report is sort of hard to understand. And I think that having a town hall and having a series of town halls for this to occur would be most beneficial, so that multiple people of different ethnicities speaking different languages from different parts of our city are able to attend and participate in this process. Because as you know, Stockton students do deserve better. And with the school year starting up, we need a proper response to this grand jury report. And I'd like to finish off my comment by inviting Dr. Miller formally to connect with me. Dr. Baird has my email, so I'd love to get connected with you too and have a meeting of some sort to discuss the town hall as it goes forward. And I want to thank Dr. Susanna Ramirez and Dr. Baird for meeting with me this past week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next comment card is from Julian Johnson. Julian Johnson.
Good evening. Don't worry, I won't be long. Just wanted to reiterate on some of the things that have already been said in terms of the town hall. David obviously isn't the only person who spoke on it. There's a other gentleman who came in earlier asking about the ad hoc committee, and we would also like to know the same. I think the timing in which we are trying to do things would definitely be helpful if we were to speed it up and give the public accessibility to actually have conversations with the folks who are in charge of how this district is run. Again, what he was talking about, some of the adherences of what the recommendations we are having were not being mentioned. We would like to see an expansion, considering that the way the LCAP was run, Like, I don't think it should be that hard to make multiple meetings in which people are able to come ask questions and actually have conversations with folks. Right now, what we're doing is really muzzling our public and not giving any type of transparency, which isn't a new phenomenon. But I would hope that we start to change the behavior and actually start to work with folks so that we become receptive. I mean, look, you guys literally have maybe what, 30 people who are just in here from one department turmoil. That's not only the department, right? We have teacher shortages. We have people who are running out of counseling. Like, no one wants to work here. And can you blame them? Like, is it seriously that hard to actually want to go out and see better for your community instead of standing behind screens and attacking the people who come up here to try and demand better? I would hope that today stands for a different action, because right now what we're seeing, a whole department walking out, like, we're going to have more departments doing the same. So, I mean, it's not my choice, but I would hope that y'all would want to see the district do better.
Thank you.
Next comment card is from Alyssa Leyva.
Good evening. I just want to reemphasize my comment from last meeting, July 12th. If we could please open discussion for a town hall for each area represented. The areas are very large. And another thing, I want to echo this man's comment about streaming the meetings. I know right now currently to hold access to public comments is not currently available in order to submit a comment via email during the meeting. And so I think that if we open that floor up, just like the city council does, it would help address transportation equity. Thank you.
Next comment card is regarding topic Franklin football field from Charles Aldrich. Mr. Aldrich, are you still present? I'll move on. Now I have a comment card regarding meeting from Tareem Khan.
First meeting here today. Hi, my name is Tareem. Nice to see all of you in person for the first time. First time here, feeling nothing but toxicity. This is specifically for the public. If you're treating a child, a minor, like you are when you come up and give public comments, that's disrespectful. Also, they're so lucky they're not here right now, because I would personally be calling them out. All I'm saying is, as a board, the way that these meetings should be held, the way that the state of Stockton right now, there's no reason board meetings, first time here, I should be feeling like this. I'm upset right now. One, because we don't have town halls, all right? I'm not even gonna get into that. But two, because the public here within itself, we're all at each other's throats. And for what? For the way this board is being run? For the way we can't reach simple town halls? For the way people are at each other's, this just doesn't make sense. It just does not make sense to be targeting minors. And that's specifically for you, Mr. Zaletta. Does not make sense to be targeting minors. That's for the public and for the board specifically also. That's all I'd like to say. And the Director of Family Resources. There you go. Grow up.
Thank you.
And just to be sure, Mr. Charles Aldrich is no longer here. Mr. Aldrich, regarding Franklin football field. Trustees, this concludes public comments for item 16.1. Back to you, President.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we go to 6.1, approval of consent items. And Yvette will be reading the contents.
Does any trustee have any item they would like removed for separate consideration as an action item? After any items are removed for separate consideration, there will be a vote on the consent items without any discussion. Thank you.
Does anybody have any items?
Trustee Maria Mendez.
Maria Mendez?
Thank you. I would like to put pull consent item into action, 6.3.
and 6.12.
Anybody else have any more items to pull? Here none. Let's get it ready for the vote. I need a first and a second for the consent.
Excuse me, on 6.3, I'm the only one going to that, and that was already voted on. That's part of my professional development on the board.
6.3.
That was already
Maria
voted
Mendez?
on and
Maria
approved.
Mendez?
Maria, so would you mind?
That's for actions, because some our constituents had questions on
Oh,
that, so we
okay.
can just discuss
Discussion.
it
Okay, thank
and
you.
everything.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you. So were we okay? Okay, let's get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
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 Thank you. Motion pass. Now we go 6.3, approval expected of Stockton Unified School District Board members attend the California Latino Board Association, CLCSBA Unity Conference in Monterey, California, August 25 to the 28th, 2022. We have a first and a second to discuss this.
Second.
He does first, Vice President. Thank you. Now we can start the discussion.
Yeah, so I just want to assure the community that I know that the amount is a lot on paper and presented, but please rest assured that I'm the only one going to the CLSBA and it doesn't cost that much. I don't spend a lot of money when I'm there, and I attend all the workshops, and I come back and bring information back to the board. You will see the presentation that I will speak on during my trustee comments regarding the last conference that I went to. They were very informational. The CLSBA is the one who affects a lot of the Latino community. And so I just want to rest assured that I do realize that amounts on the lot. So I don't know if we can correct the amount and make sure that it is appropriately, the amounts are appropriately given, because it's really not that much. I don't use a lot of money.
Thank you. Mrs. Trustee Maria Mendez.
Question for legal counsel. Would it be possible to bring this agenda item with a ratification of the actual cost, Dr. Lipton?
This is Jack Lipton. The information that's listed in this agenda item for brief description of services is just an approximate cost. And that's based on the presumption that all 7 board members were going to be attending. The actual cost would come back to the board anyway routinely to approve the expenditure. But this item is needed to allow the trustee to attend the conference.
Thank you. Any more questions about this item 6.3? Thank you. Ready for the vote? Everybody who agrees, say aye.
Aye.
It pass. Now we have to 6.12, request for approval for the purchase of Zoom licenses for 1 year. We need a first and a second.
I'll do the first.
I will do second. Discussion. Anybody wants to speak in this item?
Discussion.
Maria Mendez, the microphone is yours.
As our constituent during the comments stated, what are we also include the board meetings to be part of the Zoom meeting moving forward with this agenda item? Yes or no?
Who can we bring to the podium so they can speak up about this item?
That can be a discussion. Aptar, can you give some input?
Thank you, sir. Please come forward to the microphone so you can relay, the response for this. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good evening, board. Do you mind repeat the question?
With this agenda item, cost would also include transforming the in-person and also Zoom meetings for the board meeting moving forward within this cost, this agenda item.
This agenda item only covers the webinars, even though it has the capacity to do it, but it is not planned to do it.
Thank you.
Question. So what you're saying is that we can hold Zoom meetings while we hold these meetings at the same time. Is that correct? And no additional charge?
Correct. So the system, the licenses we are buying, it has the capacity to up to 3,000 attendees can attend the Zoom session. It was similar to what we have been doing at the previous location at the PDC, where it is a hybrid. So in-person plus remote is possible. From the previous comments, it is that we can also do a streaming on outside of the scope of Zoom meeting. So answering to your question, yes, without any additional cost, it is doable.
Thank you. Thank you. No more questions. Get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
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 Thank you. Unanimous. Now we have 7.1 recognition presentations. We have information
Wait.
rocket.
Point of order, trustee, do we need to vote to support the rest of it? We didn't vote to approve the rest of 6.1, right? We just pulled.
Okay, now we have 7.1 recognitions presentation. Information rocket consultant services presentation for school safety preparedness update.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have Rick here from Rockeye Consulting Services presentation. He's going to do a presentation on what they have completed and what they're still going to be doing for the district.
Good evening, President Mendez, members of the board, Superintendent Barrett, cabinet, and guests. My name is Rich Rebensdorf, and I'm with Rockeye Consulting Services. What I'm going to talk about tonight is to give you a brief overview of what we've been tasked for here in Stockton and what it is we have left to do and how all that came about. Next slide. So what I'm going to talk about is who we are briefly, our contract with the district, what's we've done so far, what's been accomplished, what's ahead, and then answer any questions you may have at the conclusion. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, my name is Rich Rebensdorf. I'm with Rockeye Consulting, and all our staff members and all our instructors, trainers, and so forth, we are all former either law enforcement, fire, military search and rescue. We have FBI folks, state fire marshals, and so forth, all on our team. We are currently in about 8 states, although we do train in 49. We're all certified Homeland Security instructors. We've been all over the country as well as internationally. I personally have been in 13 different countries with FEMA, anywhere from, I was in the tsunami 2 days, 48 hours after the tsunami in Japan, Haiti, and so forth. So not only do we teach, but we also are the doers. We've deployed on many occasions and we continue to do so when we're called upon. So that's briefly kind of what we do, school site threat assessments, and I'll, for the purpose of time, I won't read all these, but we're heavily involved in a lot of education, K-12 as well as the higher education, both private and public sector throughout the United States. And we train and teach and instruct on proper disaster and emergency response and all those layers of that onion that encompasses that. Next, please. So our contract, first bullet, please. Sorry, I'm used to a pointer. So one of the first tasks we've been requested was to review the district's school site and update the school site comprehensive safety plan. As you know, this is to comply with the SB 187 that's filed with the California Department of Ed each year annually. So we did a thorough review of that. We're there to update it, provide any newer information. As you may or may not be aware of, that with the COVID-19 and pandemic flu, that is also now a new insert in that document, as well as the OSHA. So we just look for those kinds of things and we update those plans. And I'll talk about the timeline as we go further on when that's due and where we're at in that process. Next, please. And the first photo, please. Then in addition to that, we're to provide the incident command system training to all the site administrators. Waiting on a click there, there we go. This was completed last Monday. This was to all the school site principals and administrators that were required to attend. This is a basic ICS 100 to bring the district into the national standard when it comes to training, so that if you're a responder or you're on a team at your school site and you go to another state or another county, you're going to use the same system, same terminology, and so forth. So it's the national standard. Well, there's a lot of districts out there throughout the United States that tend to do their own thing sometimes when it comes to disaster and emergencies. Next. We're also going to be providing the incident command system for senior executives and elected officials. I know the slide says management. This is the ICS 402 that we teach out of Anniston, Alabama, but we do it here locally. This is for senior executives and elected officials. This is to let you know what your roles are and what your role is not as it relates to disaster and emergency services, and what your team and teams are doing while you're establishing your policies and mitigating that disaster and dealing with the public. You can look forward to that hopefully very soon. Continue on. In addition is to reconstruct your and update your school's district emergency maps. As this is just an example for Adams that's completed. This map, typically a district, when they develop their emergency operations map, they're usually 2 or 3 pages. And when an incident happens or unfolds, it's the last thing you want to do is thumb through a bunch of paperwork. So we've developed these maps to meet the national standard that has everything on one map. It's easy to read. It includes emergency shutoffs, locations, and how to turn those off. So you can take any faculty member, parent, volunteer that might be on campus and say, here's where the water is. This is what it looks like. Turn it this way. Time is of the essence when it comes to preservation of life and property. And so we indicate those things and those types of things in the maps. And it's layered and that requires no special software to do so. One of the things we discovered throughout our last 20 years in the United States, we don't promote any additional software. We try to keep it simple with stuff you already have. In addition is to update your emergency operations plans for each school. This is the living, live, fluid document that's your day-to-day for each school site. This is different than the 3 anywhere from 185 to 300 page comprehensive school site safety plan that gets filed with the Department of Ed. This is the document that stays with the school site that they train on and they learn about and they practice. And we'll also assist the district, you folks, as well as cabinet and executive management on developing an emergency operations center and an EOC. We'll be working closely with your Department of Public Safety on that location now that you have a nice new building and so forth, where that may be. It's very common and typical that these are located at the district office. However, with a district that has a Department of Public Safety, it may have an alternate location. But not only will we help you develop that, but where it's at, what it looks like, what it's contained, and who are the players in that Emergency Operations Center. The Emergency Operations Center, or EOC, supports the district schools as a whole in a multiple event, not a single isolated. When there's multiple schools involved, you would activate that Emergency Operations Center. And we will also, once it's established and those players have been identified, we'll return and assist with the training each of those folks in those roles and practice a couple of drills and so forth on how to manage that Emergency Operations Center. And certainly the Department of Public Safety will be heavily involved in assisting that. So where we're at and where we're going. So phase 1, this is a brief chart on what we've done already, where we're headed, and what's left to do. As this indicates, May through July, we've already met with the SOUP. We've already determined our contract and the scope of work. We are pretty close to being complete, probably would say about 80–85% complete with the school site comprehensive safety plans. They're due in March, but we want to get ahead of that as quickly as possible. The vulnerability assessments are in the progress. I've personally walked all but 4 schools in your district at various times of the day. and looked at things that involved disaster and emergency services related concerns. And we're putting those items together in our emergency operations plan so we can address those. And drafting the new maps. So where we're at now, this is the first bullet on phase 2, is to update the board, which I'm here this evening, to complete the school site comprehensive safety plans. As you may or may not know, it requires a number of signatures from the community, the union representatives, local PD, fire, and so forth. So we hope to have that to the principals early this next month so we can start vetting that document and get that signed with their safety committees. We're going to complete and finalize those emergency maps I discussed because those are part of those emergency operations plans. That's what they'll use for training and drills and so forth, is those maps. And we'll be training those emergency operations people that are identified at the school site in those roles. And then, as I mentioned, conducting the ICS 402, which is the incident command system introductory for senior management and elected officials. So beginning in September through the end of the year, we'll be working on finalizing those plans and making sure that no later than the winter break that they're ready to go to the board for approval, the comprehensive school safety plan. So we're well ahead of the March deadline. We'll be working on the campus emergency operations training for each school site. So we will be going to each school site and training them on at least 1 to 3 drills, depending on the administrator and their calendar. Usually it's typically a couple of tabletops and a live drill. And then once we're completed with that, sometime towards the end of the year, typically it's right after the Thanksgiving break, we'll come back and provide an update to the Board of Education. Next slide. And as I said, I'd be brief. I was trying to beat the 3-minute clock. So any questions or concerns you have for us?
Any questions?
And I'm personally glad to see you're reinstating or possibly reinstating that emergency coordinator. I think that's a wonderful
Any
position, but I'm a
questions?
little biased.
Comment. I
Trustee
just,
Flores?
I'm perfect timing because I just came back from a conference, which was part of my presentation. So I'm going to take my time limit to speak on what I learned in a crisis communications. Everything is exactly what we learned, what we were taught then. I think the only thing I missed it because there was a lot of distractions going on, but I was also going to bring information to the staff as well. Knowing for the first important thing, I was going to look at my notes, but the first important thing is making sure that our leaders of the school sites know who the jurisdiction of law enforcement agencies are in case there is an emergency, who they need to contact. So I'm not sure if I've seen that on there or not. And then the second thing is also relationship building. So it's important that our superintendent and our backup, so there's always a backup just in case, also know who our lead agencies are for different areas of the schools, because we do live in a city, county, district. And so I know, like in my area, which is area 2, some of it's city, which is police, and some of it is county, which is sheriff. So understanding that, but the most important thing is building leadership within the school. So I'm glad that that's on there, so that this way the school sites themselves know who to reach and what the process is. So that's what I was going to bring back. So I'm just going to kind of compliment back on what your presentation is. And I look forward to seeing this in action.
Trustee Maria Mendez.
Maria Mendez, the microphone is next to you.
Thank you. Question, would that also include in training regarding the Share 911? Because the district has created that and I know it went obsolete, but the app is still active.
With regards to Rockeye Consulting, no, that is not the case. I believe it's going through the Department of Public Safety. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak in this topic?
Trustee Rico.
Trustee Rico, the microphone is yours.
Good afternoon, sir. I just want to thank you for bringing this information to the sites. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Now we go to 9.1. Yes, you can make a motion.
I just seen that Mr. Eldridge just came in. I wanted to allow him to do his public comment.
I'll second that.
We have a first and a second. If everybody agrees, say aye.
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 Motion pass.
Good
Thank you.
afternoon, everybody. How you guys doing? My name is Charles Aldrich. I'm a coach over with the Junior Jackets out in East Side Stockton. We have about 150 youth out there in Area 3, right? What I'm here for is just to thank you guys for your support. I get you guys active, welcome you guys to come join us. Anytime, you guys are always welcome to come out and show your faces, get to know the kids, learn the kids out there. A lot of troubled youth. We're trying to change the program up. Last year, our numbers doubled this year. So we just want to welcome you guys and thank you guys, Area 3, Miss Rico, thank you. Everything you're doing out there, continue to keep helping. Nothing's never enough. You guys are always welcome again. And then Treasurer, we want to thank everyone, President, everybody on here, Mendez. So for your support for the program, it's a pleasure. Ray, we went to Franklin together. So we got to keep that Jacket spirit alive, right? Brand new football field out there. We got to take care of our own. And that's all the kids, right? We talk about a lot of stuff going on, but the main focus is the kids. So brand new program. We changed the culture at Franklin. That Franklin culture is strong, right? You got board members, you got ex-mayors. They all came from one house, and I was out there at Franklin. So we got to continue to keep building that youth, because the youth is the future. And again, Tom Werner, he did a huge job for us, that field. So, he started off with nothing. Now we have a huge field over there, right? Oh, excuse me, a huge, nice football field. I like to see the youth start getting to play on that field once everything starts rolling. I like to see the East Stockton Yellow Jackets on the field with the big dogs. Where we were, we don't have the potholes anymore on the field. When we used to play, we had potholes, gophers running around, right? So we want to make sure that, let them see something different, right? You got to show them a different outlook on what it is, right? Because if we don't support them, then who will, right? I volunteer. I've done it 4 years. I started, my kid doesn't even play on the team. Now he does, right? So again, you just got to show them the right way, because without being a mentor, we got young man, young women playing, and we got to better ourselves, right? And there's no reason to have a board if we're not taking care of the youth, right? So, we have a lot of people that to thank, like I said, Tom Werner started the whole program out there, no matter the good and the bad, we take everything that comes, right? We're one Jacket family, one, gold and yellow, right? Gold and silver, whatever it may be, right? You see how Edison is killing it. We got to bring it back to the Jackets, right? We got to get back to where we're supposed to be, and we on the top. So we welcome everybody to come this Saturday. We're having a huge barbecue fundraiser for the kids. That's the Stockton Kids Club. It starts at 6 o'clock. It's $40. We welcome everyone to come out and take a look at what the program we're building, see where we started and see where we're going. We're going to excel and progress. All right. I thank you guys. Sorry, I don't want to take your time. Just came out to let you guys know what was going on up in East Stockton with the Jackets. You guys are welcome to join us anytime. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Aldridge, can you get my information from a staff member? We cannot address comments, but if you can get my information, I am also part of area 2 is also part of the area.
Okay.
And I would definitely love to be involved as well.
And just so you know, there's no boundaries anymore in Pop Warner youth football. So it's open for everybody. It don't matter if you're area 2, area 3, area 4, any kids welcome to come, and we open arms, right?
Thank you.
Okay. Yep, we'll be there.
Now we have 9.1, action approval, first reading of board bylaws 9324 and board bylaws 9240. We need a first and a second.
I'll do the first, Madam President.
I'll second.
We have first and second discussion.
Discussion.
Maria Mendez.
Thank you. So going back and echoing some of our community members' concerns regarding the board bylaw 9324 minutes and recordings. In my eyes, the recordings should be reflecting within the minutes. If we're not doing that, then that's not being consistent. Why are we changing the language
within this two board bylaws.
Thank you. We have anybody else? Any other comment?
Dr. Lipton.
Hello?
Dr. Francine Baird.
Mr. Lepton? Yes, Ms. Maria Mendez wants you to answer that concern.
Yes, thank you. To the extent I understand that, Trustee Maria Mendez, are you referring to the last paragraph of 9324? That's the one that refers to recordings. And it says it may be erased or destroyed 30 days after the meeting, but that's existing language. There's no substantive change to that paragraph. That's been there, and that's the CSBA language. And the reason for that is the recordings are there for the purposes of allowing the staff to prepare the minutes. And once they're done, then the recordings can be deleted.
So within that, the minutes are not reflecting the actual recordings. Why is that? How come we're not being consistent? Whatever it was say is stated, like the comments, is not reflecting the actual paper minutes.
So I think I understand the question of Trustee Mendez, that the minutes haven't reflected the verbatim comments of members of the public or the trustees. And the purpose of this revision, as I understand it, is to clarify that if the board would like on a particular item to have an actual summary of the board's discussion to be put in the minutes, then that can be done. And also, if the board wants to have a summary of public comments on certain items, that can be done. Otherwise, the minutes would reflect that there were in fact public comments at the meeting.
Comments, Scott McBride?
Mrs. Kama, Brian?
I think that ought to be removed. There's no reason to destroy these tapes. We should have a copy of these recordings for the next 10 years. Doesn't make sense to me at all that these would be removed. People should be able to refer to them at any time. I will hold myself accountable to the words I say today, tomorrow, and 10 years from now. Even though you might have to dig me up to get me, but the bottom line is this is not acceptable. We need to be able to have access to these recordings and not in a 30-day time period, but ad infinitum. Thank you. So I would ask that we remove that item entirely.
Madam President, may I
Yes.
have the floor?
You have the floor.
Dr. Lipton, I just wanted to ask a couple questions. Where do these suggestions come from is the first one, because it's my impression that they come from CSBA and they actually send a sample language and a template. Secondly, did the board, any specific board member input any explicit language into board bylaw 9324 or 9240? Because as I said, it's my belief that they came from CSBA from what I was able to see. But I wanted to make sure I asked explicitly, sir.
Mr. Lepton, please.
Trustee Zulueta, no, I don't think this language came directly from the CSBA, but rather was to deal with the general concern that the bylaw provided that there's going to be, the minutes would reflect the summary of discussion of every agenda item and public comments. And frankly, that hadn't been done. And in that regard, the purpose of these revisions is to conform with what has already been the practice. And also, as a matter of law, the minutes don't need to have any detail about the discussion or about public comments unless there's a vote of the board to that effect. And that's exactly what these revisions accomplish.
Thank you, Dr. Lipton.
Thank you. Any more comments?
Comment.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that because our policies also get translated into Spanish. And without getting anybody in trouble or facing retaliation. There have been some people who have reached out to me and said that the information and policies that are being given to translate in Spanish are not matching. They're not matching with CSBA. And if you Google the information, it's not matching the policies that CSBA is giving. So somewhere along the way in translation, the policies are being edited incorrectly and then being translated in Spanish with the wrong information. So we have to really be careful on that. I'm asking that the policies that have been caught so far be given to me, but the people who have caught it are afraid to give me that information. So the only thing I'm left with is to caution us on our policies when we are voting on them and writing them and translating them from CSBA to our language. We have to be very, very cautious and make sure that we are doing it honestly and ethically so that our parents that speak Spanish and our Spanish community is receiving the information honestly and ethically as well.
Thank you. Any more comments?
President Mendez, it's Jack Lipton again.
Yes, Mr. Jack Lipton?
So I wanted to follow up on trustee McBrien's comment, and he was referring to the first sentence of the last paragraph of Board Bylaw 9324, which says any district recording may be erased or destroyed 30 days after the meeting. So I just want to point out that if the board is now inclined to approve this for first reading, it can do so with the deletion of that sentence, if that's the desire of the board.
I move that that sentence be removed.
I second.
We have a first and a second.
Excuse me, Jack Lipton again, just a point of clarification on the motion. Was that a motion to approve this as first reading with that revision?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Not get ready for, if everybody agrees, say aye.
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 Motion passed. Now we go to 10.1 Board Committee Reports. The first one is the City of Stockton Parks and Recreation, and that's gonna be given by our Vice President Raymond Zuleta.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll try to keep it quick because we've been running real late this board meeting. Last Saturday, we had a Parks and Rec event at Angel Cruz Park. It was a park beautification event. So they did like painting some of the garbage cans in some of the areas, did like picking up garbage, things of that nature. The next Parks and Rec meeting is going to be August 29th, 2022 at 5:30 at City Hall. And then the next kind of big event that there will be August 2nd. And I believe the school district is always in addition, they're also participating with various members from our community, different vendors. It's our national night out. And so I highly encourage everyone to come out. There'll be a bunch of national night out events all across the city at different parks. And it goes all the way into like Western Ranch and some of our other outlying areas as well. So I look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Now we have San Joaquin County School Boards Association. It's also by our Vice President, Raymond Zuleta.
Hello again, and this one's pretty short as well. Our next meeting is actually tomorrow at 3:30. We're going to be talking about what those breakdowns of our governor's budget looks like. It was just announced. I know with speaking with CBO Battle, we've talked about a 45-day revise, so we'll be able to see what that money looks like and the data looks like, and how it will support the way that we are moving forward in the district. And I look forward to sitting down with CSBA tomorrow on here and how some of the other districts might be utilizing the extra financial support that we'll all be receiving. Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Now we have the committee, 3x3 committee. Our committee meeting is September 12th of 6 p.m. I'm correct with that, Yvette? And I would like very much that you guys come, to that meeting. Thank you. Now, the next one will be the 1852 Foundation Committee, and that is for Scott Bryan.
And we will be meeting on September 23rd. That is a Friday at 4:30 PM. So that is in September, a couple of months away. Friday at 4:30 PM. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott Bryan. Now we go to 10.2, brief reports of trustees' activity. And we're going to start with Angela Flores. Thank you.
Do you guys mind if I take an extra minute? Because I just want to present on the presentations and it's going to take me a minute on what I learned in the conference. So if you guys don't mind extending me a few extra.
Is everybody okay with the extension?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so during the conference, the topics workshops that I went to were governing effectively in difficult and challenging times. It starts with you, how prioritizing board member mental health benefits every LEA. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm blind, so it's kind of hard to see, get blurry. Steady through the storm, financing and equitable education during turbulent times, crisis communication, begin before the crisis, and reimagining, rebuilding, and leveraging authentic community engagement. Part of the involvement versus engagement, which is understanding the differences and shifting toward authentic engagement, which is the community. So the topics that they talked about was, is it measured through attendance at events? Are parents engaged in the way that we are trying to engage them? And I was thinking about Dr. Gonzalez, if he's here in the room, I was thinking about you with this. And so one size does not fit all. Understanding your audience, community preferences, engagement capacity, and what are the barriers that are facing us in community engagement. How do we make it easy in meeting families where they are? Are they available during times that parents are available? So mornings, afternoons, evenings. And why is community engagement important to us as a board and as a district? And it improves culture and climate that values partnerships and students and families, racial and ethnic languages and experiences. Why is community engagement more important now than ever? Family relationships play a particularly important role in adjustments of adolescence during the pandemic. Positive relationships with parents were associated with better adjustment during the pandemic, and parental attachment insecurity strengthened the increase in loneliness. So meaning before the pandemic, students who were not attached to their parents, when they came back to school, were now attached to their parents, and coming back to school was difficult. And then this was what I felt very close to home was there are 6 core root causes of ineffective community engagement. Lack of belief that the system's success is critically dependent on its relationships with students and families. Lack of belief in students and families as experts. Lack of committed and consistent district and school leaders. Lack of understanding what constitutes highly effective students and family engagement, and lack of inclusivity based on race and culture, and then their systems tools are not made to be community. Engaging and advocating, are we listening? What are the things that parents can do at home to have successful students? Moving school across the school, family community partnerships, continuous. And then I did submit materials to the rest of the board. I don't want to go on a lot, but I did submit materials to the board. And I also brought back books called The Speed of Trust. And so I have one, I plan on reading it. And I also gave some books to Dr. Baird, and she will also, these are really thick books and I didn't want to bring a lot back, but they were free. So I wanted to bring them back and, we could share along.
Time, trustee Flores. Sorry about that.
4 minutes. Thank you. Mr. Scott O'Brien.
I'd concede my time if I could, but I guess we don't do that. But thank you. And I don't have much to say. I am excited about Friday, bringing my daughter back to school. I never brought my kids back to school on a Friday. Kind of a crazy deal, but they're doing it at about 3 or 4 other school districts. So, hey, who am I? Whatever the case is, it's time that we get ready. And so make sure you're ready and you're ready with your kids and you're ready with your jobs. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you out in your schools, and I will be out and about at my school sites. Thank you.
Thank you. Alicia Rico, clerk.
Good evening, and thank you for being part of this meeting today again. I don't have much to say. The only thing that I want to say is I'm so excited about the new start year. And hopefully I pray God to everything goes right, because it's really sad to be having people come over here and say all the things that they say. It's really sad to have these issues inside of this organization. So, I mean, like adults, I think we're forgetting about the first thing that we had to be focused on is the students. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire Alicia Rico. Vice President Solera.
I'll keep it short. I'm just really excited for the start of school. My youngest son, he'll be attending SUSD TK this year starting. And so, just like we always say, I truly believe in the work we do here at SUSD. As an alum, actually as a 3rd generation SUSD student, I'm looking forward to my son being able to experience a lot of the positivity that I had the opportunity to experience. And it, in my experience, it helped me to go a long way. And I'm hoping that despite all of, the concerns and issues that we are hearing, that we continue to do what we've always done for decades, which is, work together to try to provide for the best of our students. And so I'm really thankful for those of you that are here tonight, for those people who brought their constructive criticisms. And I hope that we can take those and just continue to work for the better of our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President. Hi, my name is Cecilia Mendez, and I represent Area 1. It is sad to see people fighting in here. It is sad, but we cannot ignore the big elephant, what's going on in here. Whatever is going on in there, it needs to be fixed. And it had to be investigated and everything. And we're gonna make sure that this happen. And it is sad that this happen. It doesn't please me to see blue collar workers, the lower level of pay, to be mistreated, and also to feel that people are not listening. As board members, I'm here for one reason, to do the things right. I don't like to be accused or accuse people to do things to me and anything like that. But I really don't like when the employees are so concerned, then they have to come in here and make complaints that nobody hears them. And it is the truth. This is what's going on in this district. Nobody's listening. And it's sad. So let's see in the future how, I know that this was hard for Francine, and it was not her fault what was going on 3 or 4 months ago, or what's going on 7 or 8 years. I really don't know. I don't have the right answer for anything. Oh, I'm gonna let you know that I'm disappointed. What is going on? As a human being, I'm totally disappointed. I'm disappointed when people come to my house and try to have appointments and take pictures of me and say things, whatever they want, the freedom of speech. But nobody understands that I have students in SUSD. Then teachers teach my children and they see this. I'm a human being like anybody else. And the good thing I'm gonna be telling you right now, that I did meet with some wonderful people yesterday, and they were very nice to me. And it's people from the community and the churches. And also I would like to inform you, then I did went to an event the 19th of this month, July, and it was an event from my director in large in Manteca. And I was having the pleasure to have Alicia Rico Clerk to show up out of the blue. She told me she was coming. So it was an event very good, and we talked to many board members from different areas and delegates. So we have a fantastic time. Thank you so much for coming today. I'm very sorry that you had to be seeing this kind of stuff in the district. This is not what I want to be coming into the board, but it happened, and we're gonna move on and see how can we fix it, or how can it can be done. I don't know. I don't have the right answer, but I'm gonna leave it to Francine to take care of this, and who is coming, Mrs. Tracy Alvey, to really get to the bottom of this, because we deserve better. We deserve better. The board deserve better also. And I think the communication needs to be better and to be truthful to ourselves. Thank you so much for coming. Mr. Avelar, you're next.
I was hoping there would be more people, but allowing the public speeches to be first, they all left. But I just want to say good afternoon, everyone. I know it's been a short summer, but for the school year, may not sound like it, I'm just tired. I am concerned that we are still having electrical problems at Stag High, but I am expecting for an update on the timeline for Stag upgrades and renovations within August. I'm also looking forward to meeting with the Teachers Association and the CSEA to hear any of your concerns and suggestions as we start the new school year, as I highly believe that a happy employee is the more effective ones. Let's see. That sucks. My last point for today is, yeah, we have issues and dirty laundry. You know, you gotta clean up like any other large organization. We simply have to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and make adjustments and move forward. Keep in mind that it's election season, and there's a clear fight over control of this board. We have obstacles from all directions. Charters want control, the rich elite want control, various factions of nasty people who hide behind computers and want to cause chaos by spreading lies, exaggerations, basically just state of hate. We can't allow this board and our district to become consumed by hatred and mistrust caused from outside sources. And I've been cyberbullied and bullied up front in school, even out of school. So trust me, I know how to take the hits. But I'm tired of the people going as far to contact my family and like hitting up my girlfriend, starting lies and all this stuff, and then following me home after meetings. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's your gas money. But this is dangerous and childish behavior. Bashing each other online doesn't accomplish anything, like really doesn't. Like not even for the children or students, like wasting our energy for nothing. I'm here for the teachers, the students, and the staff only. So stop wasting your energy, because I won't be the one to entertain you. Because all these people want behind the computers is a reaction. Also, real quick, I just want to ask this: raise your hand if you feel like Wikipedia is not a source of information, reliable information for a student. Y'all don't agree? All right. Anyways, my point is, we can't trust sources who have no names behind it. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Thank you, Trustee Avila. Maria Mendez.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming. I hope that we're actually ready for our students for this Friday. I know that there's a lot of mud going around in every single department in our district, but at least it's coming to light. It's coming to light so we can actually fix it. I wish that we had started with our PDs on a positive note with the right foot instead of the left foot. It is sad and it is hard to move on this district forward. There is a lot to be done. We need a lot of manpower. We need a lot of the input. What works, what doesn't work. Because back in the days, does not work with the new Assembly bills, Senate bills that the governor has signed. That it is also is it workable for our unions? We have to always think about our unions. Are we violating their contracts, their language? It's a lot to take. It's not easy. It is a lot of hard work for every single employee to look at things. It's very heartfelt that we don't get along, but you know what? It happens. It happens. But how can we move forward in resolving those issues? Because we're not gonna be able to match everybody's likes and dislikes. We're just coming in the focus. The focus is our students. The focus is for us to move forward and give them in support for our teachers, and everybody's at the front line. At the front line means every single employee that works directly with the students and with the parents and with our community. It is very hard that they are at each other's throats, but you know what? It needs to be done in public so we can actually see and we can actually protect them. If our officers have to be the mediators during the board meeting instead of doing it in the office when they're actually supposed to be doing their jobs. Because doing it in front of students or parents in the office in our community is very heartfelt, especially when it's during work hours, because we're not focusing and we're wasting funding. It's always wasting funding. As it is, we're in a deficit. We're not looking at that. But when we argue, is we agree to disagree, and it is very, very hard, but we should do it on a matter that HR should come in and help with that part as well, because HR, I know is very hard. It is a lot to take in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria Mendez. Now we go to 11.1. Sorry, 10.3, approval minutes. I have 3 sets of minutes. I would like to approve them.
Two sets.
Two sets of minutes. I would like to approve them both. 10.3, 10.4. I need a second.
I'll do the second.
We need a first and a second. We got it. Discussion? Here none. Let's get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
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 No.
No.
We have 2 noes, 5 yes. Motion passed. Now we go to 10.5, approval intern superintendent employment with Dr. Tracy Miller. I need a first and a second.
I'll do the second.
We have a first and a second by our vice president and second by Mr. Escama Bryan. We get to discussion. Sorry, it's the other way around. Thank you. Discussion? Here none. Ready for the vote? Everybody's to.
President Mendez,
Yes,
there's an oral announcement that needs to be read pursuant to the Brown Act that's set forth in the agenda item.
Oh,
I can read it if you like. Thank you. The recommendation is to approve the interim superintendent employment agreement with Dr. Tracy Miller with an annual salary of $245,000.
thank you. We already have a first and a second. Let's get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
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 I
And
can't-
congratulations.
I cannot support this. I am so sorry because some stuff came forward to me. So I cannot support the agreement. My vote is no. Thank you.
Thank you. We got 6 yes, 1 no. Thank you. Now we have 12.1, approval of the 11.1 superintendent report. Back to you, Dr. Francine Bears, Inter Superintendente. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I want to give thanks to all of you who have stuck it out and stayed with us to the end of the night. Thank you. And I want to say thank you all to the folks that are diligently working for just to make sure that our first day is going to be great for our students. They're opening school. People have been just getting ready for a while now. And so our first day of school is Friday, July 29th. Every site will have a point person. So what that means is they'll have somebody out there to help them out and just make sure that the start of their school year is going well. And then it's going to be like a buddy system. So they'll be able to have, somebody to go ahead and turn to for the remainder of the year. Our first town hall meeting will be August 4th, 2022 at 5:30 PM here in this boardroom. This will be a time for the district to receive feedback from the community regarding the grand jury report. Each participant may fill out one card to speak for up to 3 minutes, one card only per participant. And again, it's August 4th at 5:30 to 7:30 here in this building. And our amazing Melinda Meza will start advertising this ASAP. Let's see, we also had a really feel-good story that came to us from August principal Lori Rizzo. There's a retired pastor by the name of Ellen Cook who started the First Day Project, where every kindergartner at 4 schools received a picture book signed with a special message on their very first day of school. This year, he had 5 boxes of books valued at $800 delivered to his doorstep from Barnes & Noble, only to have them stolen within 9 minutes of delivery. Devastated, he reported this theft on Facebook and the community rallied behind him. A community member raised the $800 and another member suggested that he contact Barnes & Noble. So Alan did just that, and they're going to replace the 5 boxes of books. And they also, Barnes & Noble also set up a First Day Project table for Stockton Unified School District students at the front register and are offering a 20% discount to the public for donating a book. So Ellen's First Day Project will be giving kindergartners at 10 schools now instead of 4 sites a picture book with a special message inside on their very first day of school. And those schools are Cleveland, August, Washington, Fillmore, Harrison, El Dorado, Mata, Van Buren, Monroe, and Kennedy. So I think we need a little bit of sunshine and that's it. So lastly, tonight is my last board meeting sitting up here in front of all of you. And I want to thank you all for the opportunity to serve my community and this. Oh,
Don't cry. We're going to miss you.
okay. So thank you all. Oh, my voice sounds funny now. Right. Use athletics. So thank you all for the opportunity to serve my community and the Stockton Unified School District at this capacity. Being from this community and being born and raised in Stockton has given many other little girls, brown little girls, but in particular, the opportunity to see themselves in leadership roles and representation. It really does matter. I'm looking forward to working beside Dr. Miller and assisting her as a member of the cabinet and moving her vision for our district forward. And I have no doubt that positive change is coming. And I'm very excited to be a part of that change. Thank you to the very, very professional and knowledgeable executive assistants in the superintendent's office. You ladies rock, and without you can get nothing done. So please know that you guys are valued. And trustees, all of you, thank you very much for having faith in me. And I will continue to be dedicated to my city, to my community, and to the Stockton Unified School District. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for your dedication and the Stockton Unified District, your years of experience. And thank you for step up and you still here part of the family. Thank you.
Thank you, Francine.
And where's your bonus check? Nah, just kidding.
Now we go into 12.1, approval for the 22-23 school plan for student achievement SPSA for SUSD school receiving Title I funding. I need a first and a second.
I'll do the first, Madam
I'll
President.
second.
We have first and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Get ready for the vote. Everybody say aye.
Aye.
Any abstains? No? Motion pass. 12.2, approval of conference attendance request card for Harrison students to attend Career Technical Students Organization, CTSO, Competition Conference.
Scott McBrien first.
I'll do the second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hear none, get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
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 Motion pass. 12.3, approval to approve SUSD AG completion and improvement grant plan. We need a first and a second.
I'll do the first, Madam
I'll second.
President.
We have a first and a second discussion. Hear none, get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion pass. 12.4, ratification of revised agreement for purchase ratified Ramsey Education Foundation and personal finances and entrepreneurship. We need a first and a second.
I'll do the first, Madam
I'll
President.
second.
We have a first and a second discussion. Hear none, get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
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 Motion
Aye.
pass. 13.1, action approved for investigate services consult agreement with Nicole Miller and Associate Incorporation. We need a first and a second.
I'll do the first.
I'll second.
We got a first and a second. Any discussion on this item?
Trustee Rico,
Trustee Rico, yes?
can, well, my question is, what do we need another firm on the district?
Mr. Lepton? Mr. Lepton? Mrs. Lane, can you please respond to Mrs. Aliga Rico?
Is Mr. Lipton here?
Yes, we utilized Nicole Miller's firm last year, and we are looking to utilize her again. It is actually an investigation firm that will be utilized by constituent services and HR in the hopes of getting the many complaints that we have currently in our system, trying to get those cleared up. So we utilize SUSD staff for every complaint that we can, but when it goes beyond that scope and there are more serious allegations, we would like to utilize this investigation firm in the hopes that it will minimize legal costs overall.
Question.
Thank you.
Do you know how many complaints that we have on file right now?
Yes, we have approximately 200 open complaints.
Thank you. Any more discussion on this item? No more discussion. Get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
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 Oh, aye.
Motion pass. 13.2, approval and adoption of revised instructional calendar for 2022-2023. We need a first and a second.
I'll first.
Second. Thank you.
Question, real quick,
Discussion?
clarification.
Mrs. Flores?
Dr. Francina, don't be offended, okay? It says interim superintendent, Dr. Francine Baird on here. So I'm just thinking like printing costs. Will we have to change it again if we have to put Dr. Miller's name on here?
Yeah, luckily for us, it's usually
On the
online. Yeah.
internet?
Mhm.
Okay.
So that'll be fixed on the
But
first.
sometimes they get printed out and sent home with the students in their welcome back packets. So is that not going to be printed and sent with them this year? Just convenient.
But online, it'll be correct.
Okay.
Thank you. Any more discussion? No more discussion. Get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
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 Motion pass. 13.3 action approval to reinstate two classified management positions, grant development and compliance specialist for the emergency services school safety program coordinator. We need a first and a second. I will do second. Any discussion on this item? Maria
Discussion.
Mendez?
Thank you. So I have a couple questions. First of all, if these positions are very, very important to this district, why are we utilizing ESSER funds? I mean, to me, ESSER funds is just temporarily that we don't need these positions on long terms. I'll have you answer that question first.
Thank you. That will be Mrs. Nancy Lane or Mr. Marcos Varo.
They are initially going to be funded through ESSER funds. When identified as an ongoing position that's needed for the district, the funding can be changed for them.
Because according to FICMA first report and everything, that we need to have an actual plan when we utilize ESSER funds. But apparently we don't have a plan with this part. My other important question is, why are we combining two important positions into one?
Thank you, Mrs. Nancy Lane.
So we're not actually combining those two positions. These are positions that already existed that we are reinstating. And we can look at revising job descriptions if the duties need to be split up, but we first need to reinstate these positions that were deleted with the layoff.
So
Thank
my
you.
follow-up question is, because we had a director's compliance officer for the constituent services. I mean, in the grant development was actually one position by itself with the,
Yes, that constituency services director position is different than this. We are currently advertising for the director of constituency services.
Any more questions?
Discussion.
Mrs. Flores?
I went to a conference and during ESSER funds, this is one of the things that we were strongly advised not to do. So if there's any way that we can find the funding in a different category, I strongly advise that, because what's going to happen according to that conference is the state's going to evaluate how we spent the money. And if we didn't spend it correctly and according to the regulations that they have provided us the parameters for, we're going to have to pay that money back. So
Well-
strongly caution to bring this back. I'm okay with the positions being reinstated, but the funding is a no-no, automatic. Like they strictly, it was one of the main things that they said not to do.
If the funding needs to be changed, our budget department, we can go through and do that.
To be on the safe side, so we don't have to pay back later.
So the question is, when will we do that? Are we going to do it in the next session or within the next two sessions? Because it sounds like we have to do this.
Thank
Yes,
you.
we'll do it within the next couple of sessions because we do need to look at updating these job descriptions if they are reinstated, if you approve that.
Thank
And
you.
so then,
My Vice President.
I was gonna ask Nancy, so would it be appropriate to motion to improve these, but have the funding source ratified at a later meeting?
Or when we bring the job description back, we can revise the funding source.
Okay, so then I'll make the motion to ratify it once we bring the job descriptions back, so that we can change the funding source.
I'll second. Anybody who agrees, say aye.
Aye.
But wait, I have one more question.
You already, motion passed.
I'll talk to you later about it, Tracy or Nancy.
Thank you. 13.4, approval of the revised administrator of the state federal programs updated job description. I need a first and a second.
I'll do the first.
I will second. Discussion in this item? Here none. Get ready for the call. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Motion passed. 13.5, approval revised administration step up after school tutoring program update, job description and title. I need a first and a second.
I'll do the first.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second discussion. Maria Mendez, you have a discussion?
No, Ms. Lane had actually already, we discussed it and we had voted in closed session upon ratification for when we vote on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
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 Motion passed.
Abstain.
We have one abstain. 14.1, adoption of resolution 2209 to update the delegation of power signing contracts effective August the 1st, 2022. We need a first and a second.
I'll do the second.
Thank you. Any questions?
Discussions?
Discussion?
There's a name that the public can see in here that is no longer within the district. So, yes, señor.
Thank you. Any more discussion?
I just want to make it point of record that I support Dr. Miller and Dr. Baird. But I cannot honestly and ethically support the third name. And so I will vote according to that. So just so that you guys know, that's the reason why
Thank
I'm
you.
voting that way.
Thank you. We appreciate it. You polite as you are. Anyway, we have a person, a second. Let's get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
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 Oh, shit. Aye.
Thank you. Who's abstain?
Abstain.
Abstain.
We have two abstain. Motion pass. 14.2, approval of AB 1200 financial public disclosure forms regarding the financial impact in the district, tentative agreement TA with the California School Employees Association in its Stockton Chapter 318 and CSCA at 318. We need a first and a second.
I'll do the first.
Second.
We have a first and a second. We can open it for discussion. Here, no discussion. Get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
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 Anybody who abstain?
Abstain.
Motion pass. Now we have 15.1, student expulsion. We need a first and a second.
Second.
Thank you. Get ready for the vote. Everybody who agree, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Any abstains or noes? Thank you. Motion pass. Now, we already have the 16.1 oral objections or comments for the community regarding non-agenda items. We already have that. Now we go 17.1. This board meeting has been adjourned. Thank you, and thank you so much for coming to see us today. Have a nice night.